Welcome in. This is Chevy Cool Lady, investigating the Mica Francis case, one that her defamed pastor ex-husband would have just go away. But we will not drop it. We will pursue justice for Mica until we see the persons responsible for her untimely death put away for good. Chevy Cool Lady is a voice for the voiceless, speaking up for those who cannot speak for themselves. We are open-minded and respect other opinions, so feel free to leave your comments in the box below. If you're a first-time visitor or a returning sub, thanks for allowing me to be part of your day. So without further ado, grab a snack and a bevy and let's dive on in. A tremendous amount of energy and speculation has arisen from the Mica Francis case. What it boils down to is that we still have an unsolved mystery here. Neither friend nor family has been supplied the answers to the many questions from those who have sympathized with Mica. In this video, I want to take this back to the earliest interviews with Michael Francis. Sometimes fathers really do know best. God sets fathers over their children, and both the physical and spiritual implications are and manifold. This is a safe space for those who love Mica, and we will not tolerate bullying or shaming here. That said, I do want to welcome you to Chevy Cool Lady. John Paul J.P. Miller is the owner of Solid Rock Church, or whatever they are calling it these days, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I refuse to call him a pastor. He has recently been in the spotlight due to multiple and continued controversies. In April 2024, his wife, Mica Miller, tragically passed away under unusual circumstances, which brought national attention and scrutiny to their marriage. Allegations of documented abuse against J.P. Miller have surfaced, and the FBI conducted a search of his home in November 2024. As part of an ongoing investigation, many are waiting with bated breath to see the hammer fall on that one. I will tell you that. Additionally, J.P. Miller was arrested for allegedly assaulting a protester at his church. The protester was part of a group demanding justice for Mica Miller, and the incident has further fueled the controversy surrounding him, along with a host of weird and alarming behavior patterns. News Nation. Mica Miller's father, Michael Francis, says John Paul Miller's TikToks about his estranged wife's death are straight-up denial, and that the South Carolina pastor should be in jail. He's using these things to gaslight the public in hopes that they will forget the explosive thing that occurred on the 27th of April, Francis said during an early appearance on Elizabeth Vargas Reports. Mica Miller was found passed away from a pew-pew wound in April, and police ruled her death a self-harming incident. Details have surfaced about her horrible marriage and multiple calls to the police about her estranged husband's violent and manipulative actions, looking for help but never receiving any help at all. Why? Suspiciously, her death occurred as she was pursuing a divorce from John Paul Miller. Ironically, only 2 days after he was served, she ended up dead. She had no reason to do this. She was about to be free from this jerk. Mica Miller's family pleaded for more investigation, but to no avail. They closed the case because it was the easiest thing to do. Nothing about this made any sense to family, nor to friends. Still hungry for the spotlight, John Paul Miller shared a series of TikTok videos. In one, he claimed he has more than 350 pieces of proof regarding his wife's death, although he has yet to produce anything. Miller touted, "I am looking forward to presenting over 350 pieces of proof. You're going to be shocked at some of the things that Mica says. We're going to find out actually who is responsible for my wife's death," John Paul Miller said in the video. "And Mica will have justice." Oh, yes, John Paul. Mica will have justice, because we won't let this rest. John Paul explained the videos will include texts and emails sent prior to his wife's death, adding, "People forget that Mica corresponded with me more than anybody else on planet Earth." If the evidence he spoke of was that jerry-rigged affidavit conglomeration he submitted to the courts, I would say the damning evidence stacked more up against him, in my opinion. In the TikTok, the pastor decried rumors that had been spread online about his and his wife's relationship before her death, promising a multi-part series of videos breaking down his evidence. John Paul Miller felt like he owned Mica, her father says. He said his videos will disprove claims made by her family. He also added that his silence up until this point has been nothing more than wisdom and self-control on his part. Francis believes John Paul Miller is using this as a distraction trying to gain support. Court filings contain allegations of John Paul Miller's infidelities, including an affair with Mica that began while she worked as a nanny for John Paul and his ex-wife Allison's children. It also included claims he was not to be trusted with his own children. The filing also alleges that John Paul Miller hired prostitutes and was sexually inappropriate with several underage female members of Solid Rock Ministries. These women and girls have been said to have been stepping up and reporting their abuse in the church. Mica Miller's father, Michael Francis, and her family's attorney Regina Ward joined News Nation's Banfield to discuss the details and revealed a lot of the behind closed doors information
Reaction to the
Micah's
claims
marriage
that
to
are
JP.
made in Allison Williams' lawsuit. To me, they were absolutely jaw-dropping. Were these new claims to you about what she alleges happened during her marriage to John Paul?
No, it was not new information to me, just because, well, first it was shared with me, and I knew that Mica was in contact with Allie because I was with Mica during some of those texts. I was with Mica when she said she needed to reach out to Allie for some help, and we were aware that he had issues with younger people in the church, and even very, very close to home, we had people that would tell us, that they do not want their kids around him, and this is one of the things that he would do, was oppress younger kids into just staying. I mean, this is what I've been told, caused them to just want to be there and yield and end up in a situation that's compromising to their families and compromising to their morals. And Mica was let down from the system from day one. They just wrote her off, and the same way they wrote Allison off. And I couldn't be more thankful for Allison stepping forward with the things that she's put out, and it corroborates Mica. They're both truthful people, and we expect to see further action taken. The evidence still shows that it was at minimum an unattended death. But how could she be moved so far from the shell casings right after the incident occurred, according to the timeline of the witnesses on? Yes, Allison told her, "Get out, he won't stop. Get out, go away, he will not stop." And here we are. It's just terrible. And I think all the evidence and the outcry from the public is plenty to continue to dig into this investigation. It could be reopened. It can be unknown. The determination needs to be changed. She was trying to help out other victims who wanted to remain anonymous, and she went and was going to tell their story, and the officer told her, "No one's going to believe you. You might as well not do it." I don't get it. I just don't get it. Yeah, they arrived, Mica and her stepfather and mother and the rest of the siblings were in Myrtle Beach at the time when she was between 14 and 15. That's when they started going to the church, and that's when everything started getting the separation of the family. Let me help you get away, and such like that. So I kind of don't want to go down that path at the moment, but yes, it was terrible. There was Mica, talked many times of being very confused. Who do I stay with? Dad, help me out here. And she came and stayed with me some in Virginia. And then it just went downhill once they got married.
I got to ask you, you're a father. Dads have gut feelings, have instincts. They're protective of their daughters. What did you think of John Paul when you met him?
I didn't want her to marry him, but they had already done a secret wedding in the first place. And the one that we did all in public was just for show. And I totally opposed it. There was things that were going on that were just baffling me. That him having matching tattoos to her, and then he even had her. This is he had a tattoo put on her of his signature. He owned her. That's what he felt like.
He had his own signature tattooed on her.
Yeah, and once we had her out for a while, and she was staying with me, she got a tattoo to cover it, and then she went back, and guess what? After a couple of years, back on. There's definitely plenty of evidence that shows that it was not an unintended death.
Are you surprised by all the public support you're getting?
I'm actually not surprised. First off, because Mica is such a wonderful person, and because you can see in her videos and everything, even when she's singing words that hurt her, that he wrote in parodies. Into, it just seemed like she was singing about the problems that they were going through, just like he was preaching about the problems they were going through. And he just, she's just so amazing. And the public, we appreciate you guys so much. Everybody that's helping out, everybody that's supporting. Hashtag Justice for Mica. Just do a search and you'll find a lot of stuff. You can go to justiceformica.com, and there's a lot of links on there.
Wayne Miller, JP's father, who is also a defamed pastor of sorts, had some mean-spirited allegations he threw into the public arena. Michael responded in this manner.
Just like his son does, like father, like son. They build a narrative they want people to believe. Mica, I was with them in the house with Mr. Miller Sr. numerous times and having no problems at all. And he just was there and things were fine. So to say that she had all these problems and that it was our fault is just absolutely ridiculous. We're the ones that would tell her, if you need anything, always give us a call.
Yeah.
Be sure and take medication, do what the doctors tell you. And she would.
Did she?
And John Paul is the one who would keep the medication from her, yet text someone else and say she won't take her meds. She struggled with the relationship. I mean, ultimately, she was promised the world, and he would lavish her with things and items because his behavior did not match what would be a true love. He is the kind of person that tries to buy love, and he expects loyalty. And if he does you a favor, he expects reciprocation. Nothing ever comes from him without a price.
Yeah.
No, you can't. And we're sick of the police letting people like him run around and be told 50 times, you need to do something about this. And they do nothing. Because why? Well, I don't know why. Just enforce the law. Right. Absolutely. She was down, as one would be in that scenario, as far as having to start over her life and having her, as she put in one call, if this is my husband, I need some help, I need my medication, and he would not bring it to her. He got it out and didn't tell her. He picked it up, didn't give it to her, kept it from her, went to sleep anyway while she was waiting to try to meet him to get some. As far as your other part, and as far as that comment too, she was smiling when she got the gun because she was happy to get protection for herself. She told me right before that she was going to be able to go do that. So we expected that, things were going to be better, and she got a job. She was doing fine, and she had plans. She had hair appointments, nail salon. She had bills she was, worried to get paid because she had items that were at his house that he wouldn't give her, that she was still paying for, and then try to sell them online. Well, who does that?
Yes, Myrtle Beach law enforcement. Just enforce the law. Why should people like Miller terrorize the community? Possibly preying on children and other vulnerable people. Playing church like it's Russian roulette. Or musical chairs. There are plenty of fishy moves made by a man who claims to be a non-religious preacher. Running, in the recent past, a children's school? It is too sickening for words. No, JP, we will not let it rest. We will see justice for Mica. Justice for all. Thanks for watching. See ya in the next video.